Got paint chips? Well, today we're gonna test two kits and we're gonna show you how to do it and we're gonna figure out which one's better. Let's find out. We have Ruby behind me and it is a beautiful red car. It's a multi-coat, but it is a 2018. So it was a used car when she bought it and it has a few chips, just a few. I mean, to be honest, there's a lot of chips. A paint chip is when like a blunt object, like a rock, right, goes straight towards the bumper and it chips it. The bumper, the front and rear bumper is actually a composite, it's not a metal. So what you'll see is you'll see that composite in the back, or it'll whiten out, or you'll see primer sometimes, right? And I wanna distinguish the two. There's actually something called paint touch-up, and there's something called paint correction, right? So paint touch-up is the actual rock hit it, chipped off that paint, and now it's naked, and you have to fill that in. So you actually use a paint repair kit or touch-up kit like these, and you have to fill that in and then kind of clean it up, and that's what it is. It's not gonna look perfect, but we call that like maybe like a 2-footer. Like from a 2 feet standpoint, it's gonna look great. Like you won't really tell. However, you get about 10 inches, you're gonna be able to tell that it was a touch-up. Comparatively, paint correction, you're getting rid of the swirls and marks and light scratches. And you use a big polisher, usually a DA polisher, and you use a compound, and you're actually just working with the top layer, which is a clear coat, and you're evening that layer. I want to distinguish that those two are two separate things and two separate practices. Sometimes you do both. So let's get right into it. So the two kits that I'll be comparing is, of course, the most common one is you can get this at Tesla.com. This is about $65 all in all. And then you also got Dr. Color Chip, and it was $54 for the basic touch-up kit. So it's about a $10 difference, right? It's not too big of a difference, but which one is better, and that's really what matters. Before we open this up, I just want to clarify, we're not getting paid by Tesla and Dr. Color Chip to do this video. We just got Ruby here, needed some love, so we thought it'd be cool to also do a video while we're gonna fix it, right? So let's go ahead and open this real quick. All right, you got that. Packaging wise, this is so much nicer. I mean, it's so clean. So you got the Tesla repair kit. You got a nice microfiber. This is for cleaning. This is just a towel. And then you also get gloves, which is also important. You get a brush, okay? So this is kind of interesting. You get this little brush, little tiny brush. And then you also get little pom-poms. I'm just kidding. It's to like spread it across like the divot, right? That's what this is. And it's flexible, it's plastic. And then of course you have the actual product, and wow, look at this packaging. Love it. The first one is the actual paint, and then the second one is called a blending solution. It's a stronger chemical that will actually get a lot of the paint around the area because you're kind of spreading it across, and you don't want paint all across the area. You just want it inside the area that is chipped. So that's what blending does. This is just a squeegee, like a PPF, and you're supposed to use this to kind of spread it across the area. And then all these tools are kind of at your discretion. You could use whichever you want. But that's pretty much it. Very, very simple. Now we have the Dr. Color Chip. They're well known in the community as well. And you got kind of very, very similar. Okay, so let me just open this up real quick. It actually looks, wait, is that like nearly, okay, it's not the same, but it is so similar. We're also gonna compare the colors at the end of it. They should be the same theoretically, right? But we'll find out. And then you have the green one, it's exactly the same. So you can see that this one's slightly fancier. It has like that angled edge or whatever, but they're the same thing. So, and then you also have the Seal Act blending solution, which is also almost identical. I mean, the color looks exactly the same. And then you get the glove, and then you also get the towel, which is almost identical. So as you can see, they are very, very close. I think this is a good comparison. We'll find out, is it worth spending $10 or should you just get a Dr. Color Chip? I'm gonna put this kind of aside behind me. You got Tesla kit right here on the left side. We got Dr. Color Chip on the right side, and we're gonna find some beautiful chips and we're gonna compare the two, and I will put some tape around it so that you guys know exactly what I'm comparing and what I'm doing. I got my glove on. Read the prep section of the Tesla kit. What we did was we washed the car with our car wash shampoo, and then we also used prep wash, and what that does is it removes all the wax and everything that's there. And then after that, we just made sure that we use a clean microfiber and put some water and alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and just clean that area. When you do this part, it's so important to shake this up. It's been sitting in a warehouse or whatever for a long time, so paint really needs to make sure that it is shaken up. And then go ahead and open it up. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the smallest one, okay? I got the paint right here, and I'm just gonna give a gentle, like very, very barely. Like that. It's all about steady hand. And one thing that I probably give advice on is just less is more. All right, don't try to like smear it like crazy, okay? Right here. All right, and then lastly, I'm gonna see if I have enough paint for this one. So what I like doing is I kind of like use my fingers to kind of give it that barrier, and then I'm just kind of like dabbing it, right? I'm not like brushing it necessarily. I know it's a brush, but I'm more like dabbing it in. So that's done. I'm gonna go ahead and let that sit, and let's go ahead and do the other side. So far, as I'm shaking this, you can see that it already looks awesome, to be honest. I mean, it looks like you don't really see that one that much, and then you can see, I mean, it does look good already, and it hasn't dried yet. All right, I think that's enough. So let's go ahead and use the normal one. And this one's slightly different. You notice that the Dr. Color Chip had a smaller spout, and then the Tesla one is just open like this. So please, please don't, be careful. All right, let's go ahead for the big one. Actually, let's go with the small one first. Okay. Great. And then I'm gonna go for the big one, so I need some more. There you go. All right, I know this is late, but it is recommended. So I got my safety glasses on. This thing is toxic. I mean, it smells really bad. So make sure your door is open like ours, okay? Because if you might get a little lightheaded if it's like too much. So wear safety glasses. And you can already see, it hasn't been 5 minutes, literally like 2 minutes. And it looks good for the most part. I think it's drying out really, really good. But we're gonna let this sit, and then in about 15 minutes, we'll see you back here. All right, while that's happening, I'm just gonna go ahead and start filling in all your other ones. So it's been about 20 minutes and it looks pretty good. I mean, this is not necessarily a review, but I will kind of reserve my thoughts for the end for what I think is a better kit in my opinion. But let's go ahead and do the Dr. Color Chip. Now we're gonna be doing the Seal Act blending solution. You want like a little corner perhaps? You're just gonna put a little bit of this blending solution just like that. Okay, this is a pretty strong chemical substance. I have one right here. You're not gonna put it on the actual painted area, but just around if you have excess. Okay, so I have some excess right here. And what you're doing right now is you're just trying to get rid of some of that excess around the area, okay? So honestly, I feel pretty good about this side because it looks good. And now we're gonna be using the Tesla one, and it looks almost the same to be honest. This one doesn't have like that small spout again. So I'm just gonna do that. You're gonna go ahead and just get all those areas. Again, you do not want to go over the actual area that you put it on. Tesla actually came out also with a microfiber, so I guess that's kind of cool. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe that away gently. Okay, I'm not gonna do anything, but I'm just gonna go ahead and buff it real quick. On an angle like this, you could kind of see where it was applied. But honestly, when you're looking like head on, I mean, we do have like really, really aggressive lights on it. It's a little bit less noticeable. I mean, we had this camera, so we can go back and show the before and after, right? So as far as like the instructions, that pretty much sums it up. I mean, what you want to do is repeat that process until you get the desired, I guess, look that you're looking for. Just to give you an idea, though, this is something that won't be perfect. I mean, if you really want to have immaculate paint condition from that chip, the really only way is to repaint it again, and that is very expensive. So I'll do like a quick review, in my opinion. As far as the packaging, Tesla's like way better, right? It looks so clean as far as like that minimalistic and really, really high quality packaging. But when you get to the contents of it, actually it's nearly identical. The only difference is you get this microfiber from Tesla. But as far as the brushes, I did notice that the Dr. ColorChip one is a little bit more fine, meaning that the brushes are a little bit more stronger, it feels like. So I have a lot more control, whereas this one seemed to be a lot more looser and very soft. So when I did it, it kind of got around a little bit more. And also, it's slightly thicker. This one, I didn't really get to use a little bit. I mean, Marla used a little bit in the other areas, but I don't know, I like the other one better, to be honest. And then this one is nice, but honestly, you could just use your finger, right? You could just, if you do that method where you kind of go offset and then you kind of smear it in, you can use your finger instead of this one. So this is a little fancier, but you don't really need it. My way is like using a lot less, and I just go a lot lower, and then I let it dry, and then I do another layer if I have to really fill that in. If you look at bad touch-ups, they just put way too much paint and it just bubbles up. It's just like a little bubble. It's like a little pimple bump. So you don't want that. That looks really bad. One key thing though, I think the difference between the two that I can say is that the Dr. ColorChip has this where it has a better opener, right? It's easier for me to get to areas that I need to, rather than, for example, like this one. This is highly chemical, it's pretty dangerous, and this one is just full on open. And this goes for the same for the paint. The paint one, you can see, this is the Dr. ColorChip one, and you can see that it's the same thing. It opens it up, you can actually put your brush in there, and then just kind of squeeze in, or just upside down, and you get enough paint. Whereas on the Tesla one, which is under me right here, you can see that it's very, very easy to spill, right? So right here, boom. So, and that smell is just really, really strong. So that's one thing that I really like about the Dr. ColorChip. So all in all, if I were to say, this hasn't fully dried, so I'm a little reluctant to say which one is a better color match, but right now, as we do this video, the Dr. ColorChip tends to be a little bit more color matched to the multi-coat red. But overall, I think this was highly successful. This looks far better, I think, and Marley's gonna be a little bit happier not having to look at these chips. When I normally do this for a client, and I'm working on a car and they have a few chips, I do it slightly different. I do use a paint, and I do have a clear coat version. You could get that kind of version as well in this setting. But what I do is I let it dry for like 30 minutes to an hour, and then I do use like it's called sandblock. So let me actually show you. I normally use like a sandblock like this, and then this is just 3M sandpaper, and you can have different grits. But pretty much you cut it, and then you go around, and then you go in hatch motion, right? And then you kind of clean that up just a little bit. You don't want to go too deep, right? You're just trying to even that out. And then after that, what I would do is I would actually use a DA polisher and polish around with a polish compound. And usually that has a much nicer blend. But if you are interested in seeing how we do it at our shop, let us know in the comments below. We'd be happy to do another video regarding that. But you cannot beat these kits. These are really, really easy. I think this is perfect for just an average do-yourselfer. If you have any questions, again, always let us know. We're happy to help. We'll see you next time. Click on subscribe. Drive chip free.